Hello, my ladies and glip glops. So we all should know by now that Rick and Morty is about one of the greatest cartoons around at the moment. As far as animated series go, this one took us all by surprise, created by the imaginations and efforts of Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon. It manages perfectly to blend the derpy silliness we can expect from a cartoon, and also within the chaos is some real intelligence and unique themes going on. A simple idea based on the pairing of Doc Brown and Marty from Back to the Future, it offers some of the most unique characters and fun episodes of any series at the moment. With there currently only being 2 seasons out so far and with season 3 hopefully around the corner, I'm going to go through my own top 10 personal favourites. This is just something I wanted to do for fun and to show some love to the awesome show. Spoiler warning to anyone who hasn't seen it, but if you do plan on checking it out, these are some episodes I would recommend. I'm just gonna get started. Number 10 is the pilot episode. This episode had the difficult feat of introducing us to the craziness and lovableness of the show, and this voice. Generally, the first few seconds a person sees of the show are these few seconds.
Morty, you gotta, come on.
And in having this job, I think it succeeds really well. If you're thinking of showing this show to children, you quickly get an idea that maybe you should change your mind. It's not even very focused for the whole thing, it's just crazy sci-fi antics. It introduces you to the whiny simplicity of Morty's character and the erratic awesomeness of Rick's character. The world they venture to is standard Rick and Morty craziness. It's colourful, freaky, a bit gross, and a lot of fun. There's not overly much to say about it, but it is a good episode and deserves to be on the list for providing us all with our first experiences. So number 9 is Big Trouble in Little Sanchez. This episode involves Rick transferring his consciousness into a younger clone of himself so he can hang out with Morty at school or whatever. Watching Rick struggling with teenage hormones is cute, and good commentary on things you can do without those pesky emotions. It's just lower on the list for one reason, and I feel weird for saying this, but Rick's kinda hot? He's old and gross and ugly, I know, but the intelligence and the cynical attitude, he's my kind of guy. Shun me. I imagine a younger Rick would be cool looking, you know, to fit the personality, but they just gave him smaller proportions, and it just feels overall a bit lazy design-wise. The episode has probably the best subplot with Beth and Jerry. Throughout the series, the occasional episode revolves around Beth and Jerry and showing their one-sided, crumbling marriage. But I actually love these episodes. With all the craziness going on, it brings you down to earth and has some genuinely good moments. This one, however, is easily the most crazy and awesome. Rick takes the two to a special couples therapy, which goes oh so wrong. It's fucked up with awesome artistic aspects and a cameo voicing by Jim Rash. No complaints. So number 8 is M. Night Shyamalan's. I think that's how I say it. This episode is just a whole lot of fun and mind-fuckery. Taking the concept of virtual Earth simulations and destroying it with Rick and Morty shenanigans. The episode is as enjoyable as you would imagine. The aliens putting Rick into the simulations have cool little quirks and motivations, and a voicing by David Cross. Their plan is really clever. Of course, Rick ricks it all up. Probably one of the best aspects of this episode is Jerry's role. Somehow, he got thrown into it all. The way he ends up having one of the best days of his life on a lowest functioning simulation is really fun to watch, and you both adore and feel sorry for him. The theme of glitching out people and things is really fun, and that's a good word to sum up this episode. It's fun. And fucked up. And really clever. Number 7 is Lawnmower Dog. This is a great episode, and you can bet I haven't really looked at dogs the same way since. Aw, come here, Wilbur. Come here, little one. Yeah, but for real, look at the camera. Hello. Rick gives their dog a little intelligence boosting device, which is a cute idea in its way to make coexistence simpler for Jerry. But it quickly gets complicated when Snuffles becomes self-aware and gets more and more intelligent. And upon learning of the gradual degradation of his species, he's understandably peeved. Lawnmower Man, the movie it takes inspiration from, is fucked up enough in its own right. It's about bestowing intelligence upon someone, going against nature essentially, and showing the repercussions, just in a really bizarre way. The dialogue of the dog is so intriguing, and the episode takes a really fun and interesting turn. Trust Rick to get him out of the situation in the most embarrassing way possible. Also, hats off to the Hal-inspired voice. Oh yeah, also there's an Inception and Nightmare on Elm Street plot in there somewhere. A lot of the episodes revolve around two different stories, so I'll most likely be focusing on one more than the other sometimes. Sorry. Number 6 is autoerotic assimilation. This one is enjoyable for its interesting look into Rick's past, and that is its inclusion of one of his ex-girlfriends. Most of the episode revolves around this. This character is an extremely unique and interesting character for her species. She's a being similar to body snatchers maybe, which takes over hosts of a whole planet and becomes part of a single mind. It's interesting the way the creators go about having a whole planet and with characters compromising of the one consciousness. It's also an interesting look into humanity and discrimination, as the only solution to bring peace to the divided people of the planet is essentially to remove their humanity and free will. It's a tough lesson that we, and Summer in particular, don't want to accept, but it's what works in this case. It's not only a statement to the pointlessness of racism, but also a fun episode. It includes all the characters and shows a side of Rick that we haven't really seen before. Number 5 is Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind. This episode is scary as it leans more towards the serious side of things, mainly Rick's role, or many roles in the universe, introducing the concept of the multi-universes and the idea that all the Ricks are working together is a clever idea.
Me, pal. You? No. Me.
Portraying our beloved Rick as the Rickest Rick is a good way to bring us, the viewers, closer to the characters. It, however, delves into the more serious side of the show with its self-aware potential destruction. The multiple universes provides us with some unique possibilities, some fun and stupid.
This guy right here, super weird.
And weird.
Except you know what? She's not as brilliant or attractive.
Aw,
Thank
you.
Oh, she did it! She did it!
But mostly questionable. How many of the Ricks can be trusted, and what is the payoff of this particular scene? There's a lot of theories going on out there, and it's worth checking a lot of them out. Number 4 is the Wedding Squanches, moving from one serious episode onto the next. This freaking episode left us all with the biggest cliffhanger since... Okay, it's basically hanging us both at the same time, but it's still torture, isn't it? This episode starts off with the classic Rick and Morty feel. They go to Bird Person's wedding. It's fun, it's cute, the whole family's there, but it quickly takes a different turn and provides us with more insight into Rick's mysterious criminal past. Seeing the family stay together and the calmness of their exile is rather nice, really, and ends both perfectly and painfully with Rick's decision. What's gonna happen? It also has one of my favourite little scenes.
Let's go down and check her out.
So number 3 finally is Meeseeks and Destroy.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me! I'm Mr. Meeseeks! I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me! I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me! I'm Mr. Meeseeks, I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me!
Seriously, what seems like would be one of the most annoying things ever, I fucking love the Meeseeks. This episode is amazing. The Meeseeks box is used to help out Beth, Jerry and Summer with just random little problems, while Rick and Morty go on their own Morty-esque adventure. All aspects of this episode are fun, weird, entertaining, crazy, absurd, creepy. It's fun. Jerry, being the useless little blob of a person he is, completely screws over the Meeseeks in his failure to take 2 strokes off his golf game. And for completely fictional beings, it's really fun seeing how it affects them, slowly and then insanely.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me! Kill him!
The other plot of the episode offers good insight into Rick and Morty's relationship, with silly characters and events, and probably the most triggering scene in the whole series. My favourite little aspect of this episode is Rick showing, in a sort of less obvious way, a more caring side towards Morty. It's overall a fun episode, and easily one of the best. Number 2 is Rick Potion number 9. What can I say about this episode? This is absolutely one of my favourite in plot, in craziness, in fucked up awesome art styles. It is so much fun. With science being impossibly OP in this world, a love potion was something they were bound to take advantage of at some point. It shows how forcing someone to love you can obviously go wrong, but in the best series of events possible. Everyone becoming Morty-loving monsters, to everyone becoming Morty-loving praying mantis monsters, to everyone just becoming Cronenberg blobs. It's great. Reference to David Cronenberg, the body gore master director of films, like The Fly. Although they kind of remind me more of Belial. That's really all the episode is, and the absolute chaotic feel is what gives it appeal in my opinion. It's a hilarious concept to begin with, and it's pulled off flawlessly. And fucked uply, of course. The ending also has one of the strongest moments in Morty's development. It's apparent through Rick's attitude throughout the series about the insignificance of our existence. We live, we fuck, we die. And in this moment, burying his alternate reality self, Morty begins to understand this too.
Nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody's gonna die. Come watch TV.
It's heavy and something the show is really aware of and hints to the audience as well. Let's all fuck! Okay, so my number one favourite episode is A Wrinkle in Time. After the cliffhanger that the first series left us with, we were thrown immediately back into what makes Rick and Morty Rick and Morty. In the aftermath of the rickest party ever, the episode satisfyingly begins immediately where the last one left off. I read that the creators of the show consciously decided not to have time travel as a theme in their episodes because scientifically it really is that complicated to bother with. So the episode communicated well the repercussions and complications that can happen with just tiny little time problems. After having time pause for so long, getting things going again caused a rip in time. It's one of the most entertaining, confusing, fun, and most Rick and Morty episode of the lot, in my opinion. The detail in the animations of the numerous timelines is amazing and is so impressively strange it really makes you appreciate the creators for their effort and skill. It was the perfect episode to bring back the series in a new season, and I love it for it. It had fun character development, plot, and a touching Rick moment that we get so rarely. So those are my top 10 favourite episodes of Rick and Morty. Please like and subscribe. And let me know what you think. What are your favourite episodes? I'd love to hear. Bye!